service of CNC Worldwide.
CNC podcasts are a service of CNC Worldwide, and they're brought to you by the Greece Chamber of Commerce, providing more than 800 member companies with business solutions since 1984. Irondequoit police say a man who was upset about some personal issues set off a police response that blocked off part of the Pine Grove Avenue neighborhood. The department says a third party called them Monday afternoon to tell them they were concerned about the man who had access to a weapon. Police blocked traffic at Pine Grove and Oak Ridge Drive. They used reverse 911 to warn people to stay in their homes and away from windows. Media and onlookers were moved well back. Police made contact with the man. He agreed to come out and talk with them voluntarily. He was being medically evaluated last night. No names were released. Nobody was hurt. More than 2,400 Rochester Gas and Electric customers in Rochester, Brighton, Henrietta, and Pittsford were in the dark Monday night after a circuit failure on a major power line. RG&E says a circuit breaker tripped out about 6:30 p.m. on the 12,000-volt line through Pittsford. Crews were trying to figure out late Monday night what went wrong and how to get the power back on. The city of Rochester has sent a letter to the state's legislative delegation saying it's got some big problems with the proposed state law that funds Phase 2 of the massive City Schools Facility Modernization Program. Phase 1 of that multi-million-dollar project is under investigation by the FBI. The reasons are officially undeclared. Unofficially, they're believed to be over irregularities in the awarding of contracts meant for minority and women-owned businesses through pass-throughs. The letter signed by Mayor Lovely Warren and City Council President Loretta Scott says the city opposes the Phase 2 legislation as written. Both officials say the $435 million spending plan shouldn't move forward until the legislation is rewritten to provide more oversight and spelling out fines for fraud and abuse of the program. Assembly Majority Leader Joe Morelli has answered with his own letter. He asks the city to reconsider its opposition. Morelli says the legislation has already been modified to require monthly reports from the project compliance officer to the Joint City-School District Board that oversees the work. Governor Cuomo has sidestepped the question of how much he plans to be involved in trying for a Democratic takeover of the state Senate. The governor, who told the Working Families Party he would campaign against anti-progressive senators, says he is deferring that sort of question until after the legislative session is over. Right now, Cuomo says he and Senate leaders are trying to get agreement across the aisle on medical marijuana, anti-heroin, and teacher evaluation laws. He says injecting partisanship into the conversation could torpedo all of that. A candidate who thinks Governor Cuomo isn't progressive enough is challenging him for the Working Families Party nomination in a primary. Fordham University law professor Zephyr Teachout and her running mate, Tim Wu, opened her Summer of Democracy campaign by accusing the governor of being too close to Wall Street and married to his big campaign donors. She says the governor has become the problem he was pledging to fix 4 years ago. As the serious political season begins, Governor Cuomo maintains a huge lead in popularity and name recognition among New Yorkers over his Republican challenger, Rob Astorino. Cuomo holds a 36-point lead over Astorino in the latest Siena College poll. Cuomo is at 57 to 21% over the Westchester County executive, and more than two-thirds of New York voters don't know who Astorino is yet. Voters are divided on whether they and New York are better off than they were 4 years ago before Andrew Cuomo became governor. 25% say things are worse. 40% say no change. Two men have been charged with robbery and grand larceny for allegedly holding up the Chase Bank on Dewey Avenue in Greece last week. Laquan Ely and Abraham Osorio of Rochester are charged after an investigation by Greece Police, Rochester Police, and the FBI. Both men are being held in the Monroe County Jail on $100,000 bond. Your next CNC podcast is whenever you click on one of our pages and catch one. We post updates as necessary, and I'm Bud Lowell, CNC News.